Not all the songs on here are about other people. You get a bit, I guess, introspective as well.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Yeah, there's my Mr. Curly song, I call it, after the Looney cartoons, which is an Australian very famous political, philosophical cartoonist. And that's called Walk Into My Soul, which is a personal one. And Unknown Country, of course, is a personal one as well. So I do a bit of soul searching and stuff. When you live in the country, you have a lot of space to go inside yourself and find out who you are, rather than if you're in a city, rather than jumping on what the latest thing is, and changing guitars accordingly.
Yeah. Let's go back over some of the past career, because we're dating back to, like, if we go right back to the Carson era, for instance. That was sort of the first of the success for Broderick Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was in bands for about another 10 years before that. I started in '62 in the western suburbs in St Albans, which I am very proud that I grew up there, because it was a tough town, and it's allowed me, no matter what situation I am, whether I'm in Harlem or Brixton or somewhere, to gauge somebody on who they are, not what they look like. So that's where I started in bands, playing in garages, with our friendly mother allowing us to play.
So it was fairly well down the track then when Carson came along with that magnificent song Boogie.
Yeah, well, I'd actually grown out of blues by the time I joined Carson. I was into more singer-songwriter people like Randy Newman and Judy Sill and Laura Nyro, we were talking about them before, those sort of people. So joining Carson was kind of like a backward step for me, but the guitarists in the band were very influenced by not only the John Lee Hooker or somebody, they were also influenced by John McLaughlin and Sonny Sharrock and more of the adventurous jazz players. So it developed into a kind of an interesting spaced-out psychedelic blues thingy towards the end of it.
Yeah, and then the Dingoes came after that.
Yeah.
Totally different sound.
Yeah, well, the Dingoes, Karen Tolhurst was in country radio, which sang songwriter stuff and a lot of their own, and the odd Australian song. And Karen had it in his mind that we should form an Australian band. And it's so far ago, I can't remember how it all started, but it's something like that. And our original charter was to try to weld R&B together with bush music, and based sort of like on what the band was doing, and also what Fairport Convention were doing with Dave Maddox on drums. So that's what we originally set out to do in that band. And we was also during the Whitlam years, where for a brief shining moment we didn't have a cultural cringe, but that was killed off by Fraser and then again. But so it started in that period. So we were kind of like a sign of the times, and because we were among the first to do that in music, sing about who we are and where we were from, we're regarded as the founding fathers of that scene, or one of the founding fathers in that kind of music, and also in country rock. But the Labor government at the time had something to do with it too.
Yeah. There's a couple of magnificent songs on here that have become, I guess, Australian classics. Boy on the Run. I'll start with that one, because you wrote that with Chris.
Yeah, I originally wrote that about St Albans. And a funny anecdote I had, that it was two demos were done of it. One by Roger Daltrey, which nearly ended up on Ride a Rock Horse. But Roger normally records 60 to 70 songs for each album roughly, then picks the ones that work, and it didn't work for him. And it nearly ended up on Boys in the Trees with Carly Simon, because she did a demo of it. I really hoped that she would record it, because the idea of Carly Simon singing a song about St Albans is very, very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible anyone could come up with it still? I mean, do you pitch it out there, or publishing? Or?
No, well, I don't know. It's just out there. There was one American cover of Way Out West by Wiley and the Wild West Show from Oklahoma, who's a great singer, guitarist, yodeler, but he sings more of a modern country yodel sort of style. And he did a terrific version of it, because he understood, as he said, the inherent sadness in that song. So he did a very good version. Yeah. So in Oklahoma it would have got airplay, I guess.
Yeah, well, Way Out West is credited to the entire band, the Dingoes.
Yeah, but it was originally pretty well all written by Karen Tolhurst, apart from bits here and there. But what he did, because it was the first single, he said, I want to give this as a gift to the band, as a co-write, which he did. Some of us had added bits to it, but really it was mostly his song, which he did that, much to his regret, because later years it was covered by James Rain and James Blundell. So instead of getting, 150 grand, he got 30.
And you got a new car.
I think I might have got a new kitchen on that one. And it's like the John Farnham album, Whispering Jack. It's called the Renovation Album among Melbourne songwriters, because it paid for so many renos for people for their houses who wrote the songs. So way out west and Boy on the Run. I like to see the people. I'm sick of being poor, to be quite honest, folks. One of the drags about being a musician is your mother sees you on television or in the paper, and she can show it to her friends and say, isn't he doing well? And you could be lying in a gutter in St Kilda with a needle up your bum or something. But she's happy because you're in the paper. Or you could get a day job and just play music part-time and make lots of money and not make the papers, and your mother would be ringing up every day going, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" It's the weirdest kind of thing to do. I hate using the word business with music because it makes it sound like it's a business or a career, or a job. And it's not.
Well, it is for a lot.
It's a curse and a gift.